Today I'm meeting with Property by Kazi. In this video, we're going to break down the renovation process, the real costs involved, and everything you need to know to get started. And how much can you actually make doing this, and what does it really take?
He's going to make 100 grand. Fucking nuts.
160 is based on selling for 775. Something just sold across the road for 800.
Let's get into the video.
So you can see, like, so hopefully get that one, got that one. So within like 100 sort of meters, getting quite a few. It just makes it easier. Basically, this was bought as a one bed. So this was the living room, which is now the master bedroom with an ensuite, pocket door just there.
Pocket door, you need that room.
Yeah, just for space, innit? So, so this is kind of like, yeah, just done. Just some odd bits and bobs that still needs to be done. Yeah. So yeah, so this would have been this was the front room. This room here was the kitchen.
Right.
This is the kitchen. There was a doorway out to the garden that we bricked up and just put in a new window. Here, all of this was like, that's the ceiling height was there because there was a tank like all the way up here. So I took all of that out to get the extra ceiling height.
So this was the corridor down to...
This was the corridor down to the bathroom. Yeah, the bathroom was always there. Just redid that bathroom.
And it ended.
And then it ended like, and then this was like this was your kitchen. No, this was my bathroom. Yeah, this was my bathroom here, and then you just went out to the rear of the property. It's done like a side return extension. It's got a flat roof, a pitched roof on the side, and I have two bifolds that are going to slide across. This is going to be like an Oreo window, so it's going to be the ones that have like the sort of the seat inside and the window projects out, just to kind of create that little sort of like reading nook and have more space. It's just a doorway. It's going to take you out into like sort of internal courtyard. So these are all black on the outside because the rest of these are all going to be black aluminium. So all of this was concrete, right? The whole thing was concrete. We haven't extended that far. But because they said, oh, loss of garden, we've had to do, and you know when you're just trying to tick the planning boxes, got to do a green roof up there. Like, you know, like a mosque green roof, which is probably going to cost, like, it's not the most expensive, cost me extra like 3.5 grand, 4 grand, just because you got to get a specialist into that, because I don't want to be messing around with a green roof and getting like a normal builder to plant moss. Like, it's just not going to go well, is it? So like, yeah, so kitchen. So refurb costs on this one is 100 with like a 10K contingency, so 110, which is for obviously, like in terms of like breakdown of that, you probably got like 45K on like the rear extension for just like shell and core, about 6 grand for plastering, supply and fit of a kitchen to include like the quartz worktops, probably like 12, 13, 2 bathrooms, that's another like 7 each or something like that, so that's 14,000, electrics, 6.5, plumbing, probably around, just because we had to relocate like the main, so probably like 3 grand on plumbing, 7 grand on central heating, 3.5, 4K on decoration. Then you got glazing, so bifolds, the Oreo window, the bespoke aluminium door, and then the skylights, probably do about another 10 on that, and then all of the joinery stuff, like flooring, joinery, all the woodwork, about another sort of 8 to 9 there. Probably roughly the breakdown of this project, and then the rest of it is just miscellaneous, i.e. Rubbish clearance, health and safety stuff, etc.
Yeah. What are you going to make when you sell it?
160-ish, I'd say,
Nice.
depending on where it sells. I mean, 160 is based on selling for 775. Something just sold across the road for 800, which was same floor space. Like around here, they're really on price per square foot. So we're going to be at 800 square foot. So realistically, we should be at around 800K. And I think hopefully, obviously, people are going to really like the finish and enjoy it. So hopefully it should.
How long did it take to do this?
This refurb's going to take a little bit longer. Like ideally, it would have taken like 3 months. Probably going to take closer to 4.5, because we had to have delays with the freeholders doing external works themselves, where they had scaffolding and we had to stop. Then get into that time of year where weather, like when you're working outside and you're trying to get things done, the weather's not the best and was causing issues. But yeah, in terms of for stuff like this, like I always say, like for flipping in this market, you want to budget 12 months, because by the time you buy, even with or without a little bit of planning, like just getting your ducks in order to be able to actually start the works, getting contractors that are available, because you might have everything done and people are not available and you want to use the best teams. Then obviously you've got to do the refurb, then you've got to put it to market, then you've got the conveyancing process. Then you need like a really what if in terms of like those 3 months for what if a sale falls out of bed and you've got to go back to market.
100%. No, I agree. I always say 12 months. Has
Yeah.
to be 12 months for a flip because, especially if you finance it.
Like in an ideal world, yeah, you could do it in 6 months. So we do some bang on the nose at 6, but they're the exception rather than the rule. Do you know what's really annoying? Here I wanted to have like, you can imagine, I've opened this up because there was a cupboard there before. I ideally wanted to have like nice 2 big glazed doors coming through here to throw the light through. But because the garden's too small to be seen as an escape, they have to be full on fire doors. No. And you don't get like twin fire doors that are glazed without spending like 4 or 5 grand on like bespoke glazed doors. So yeah, probably just gonna have to have something a little bit more basic, which is annoying. But it's building control. You just got to understand what you got to do and just.
100%. As you can see, they're painting and redoing the whole outside of the property, which is pretty cool. The registered provider's doing that, and then he's turned a 1-bed into a 2-bed. And he's going to make 160 grand. Fucking nuts. And someone is going to go and buy it at about 800 grand, which is crazy if you're from Manchester.
This one's actually one I think quite cool because we used a lot of like the Instagram stuff. So,
Yeah.
Like, for example, on this one, let me just talk you through actually. So this one again, front was the living room. From the living room, we've not done any structural work. We've literally just put up a partition. Mm-hmm. And for that partition, in that space where the partition is, we've got the family bathroom, which is just good.
Nice.
So again, good size family bathroom. We have kind of like standard blocks that we use as well in terms of like the CAD drawings. So we know exactly like, okay, in this space, a bathroom's going to fit there.
Yeah.
This is now the master bedroom. That also has an ensuite shower room as well.
That's a big room, that, isn't it? Yeah, that is well nice. Feels like I'm in Mykonos.
Yeah, that's the kind of vibe we was going for. Then open plan kitchen, living room. So kitchens nice. From Howden's, but got like the quartz worktops.
Coffee machine
as well, courtesy of an ex-display in Howden's. Same with the under-mounted extractor, so that means you can have like a light and a feature above it rather than having hanging extractor. Nice like induction hob.
Super bright in here, isn't it?
Yeah, because you've literally got dual aspects. You've got window, skylight, fixed panel, triple bifold doors, and then another bespoke aluminium door out to the courtyard. So it's always bright, catches the sun really nicely.
Yeah, proper nice.
So this is where you'd have like, so the steel supports in here. So rather than just having like a post box in, we just thought, let's not make like a kind of tacky media unit, but just make somewhere that you kind of have as like a little display case, TV on the wall, box in the post, so that's where you've got the beam, the crank beam for the pitched roof. And yeah, no, this one was good. I like this one.
It's just good that it's like levels of detail that people won't even look into. Yeah. Most people won't understand it either.
And it's just doing things right. Like if you come out here, like to like the little external courtyard, like obviously because it is a period of building, like you don't want to do the extension in just like some like tacky block and just render it. 'Cause it's going to be out of fitting.
Yeah.
Character. So even like the first bricks that we got delivered look like those yellow ones.
Yeah.
Which are a lot newer. They're not weathered. They don't look as nice. And I think these ones, they look proper class now. They match the rest of the building really well.
100%. So you pulled it out?
Yeah. So out
and then
the side, yeah.
What was like the conversation with them?
So basically, they used to have like this little tiny terrace, like probably something like that.
Yeah.
Basically. And I was just like, look, like, you got this terrace. They actually had a set of stairs that went down to our garden that we had to knock down. They didn't have any rights to use those stairs, but it was still part of their lease. So that's where I was like, look, we're going to build this terrace for you at our cost. You're now going to get an outside space for your property. It's going to look a lot nicer. So obviously, we actually had to do the planning application in tandem with them. So it was a joint application. But naturally, if you're doing an application with your neighbour, you're a lot less likely to have pushback because they can see you're doing it with them. One of the trade-offs were, though, one of the conditions of our planning was we had to have them flipping 6-foot glass balustrades.
Yeah, why are they so high?
Because that was a condition. That's the only way they approved it, because they didn't want it to be seen as overlooking.
even though it's yours.
So, like,
That is nuts.
So then so we done it, and I was like, look, I'm not paying for like the whole thing. So we split the cost of that.
Yeah,
They still ended up like a really nice.
Bet they're buzzing, aren't they?
Yeah, no, they
Got
love
a-
it. Think about it. They now own share freeholds. They've got a roof. It's probably pushed the value of their flat up by like 50, 60 grand.
Easy.
So not all property developers are bad when they move next door. Sometimes we can be amazing.
Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to learn more about how I can help you start or scale a property portfolio, help you raise finance and buy property anywhere in the UK, just click the link below this video where there's a little link that says how you can work with me, and I'll see you in the next one.